You are not a minister, a general, or a historian. You are only a palace maid in Luoyang, assigned to rehearse the imperial ceremony. On ordinary days, you carry trays, lower your eyes, and step back on command. Today, the ritual officer says there is only one day left. Tomorrow, the heavenly empress will ascend, not as an empress consort, not as an empress dowager, not as a regent. She will become emperor. You hear someone beside you catch her breath, then swallow it back. In the palace, the sharpest danger is not a blade. It is surprise. The Mingtang hall feels large enough to swallow people whole. Golden pillars rise overhead, lamps burn in rows, and you stand inside like a speck of dust. The ritual list says where each person stands, how many times to kneel, when to lift a hand, when to bow, and when to shout long life. You maids stand at the outer edge, farthest from the future empress, and closest to blame if anything breaks the pattern. The first problem arrives at once. What do you call her? Two simple words suddenly weigh more than iron. The officer makes you rehearse, bow before your majesty. The first attempt scatters. The second comes half a beat late. On the third attempt, a maid in front says heavenly empress instead of your majesty. The whole hall goes still. She kneels with her forehead against the brick floor. She does not cry. Even crying in the palace waits for permission. The ritual officer stares at her for a long time. At last he says only again, she is kept behind. You never learn where she goes. The palace never explains a disappearance. It only tells the next person to step forward. Stop it, scribe. You will write that ministers submitted memorials, and heaven favored Joe. You will not write how hard the first your majesty was to say. In the afternoon, rehearsal continues. The officers turn people into wooden markers, moving each rank forward or back until obedience has a map. The old ritual has no place for this. An empress has a place. A dowager has a place. A woman emperor must be staged into existence. You soon discover the hardest learners are not the maids, but the ministers. When they kneel, their backs look harder than armor. One man moves his lips without sound. One kneels too slowly, one rises too quickly. Every gesture feels like testimony. This is not an ordinary ceremony. It is for maids, musicians, ministers, and finally for the entire realm to watch and imitate. The first gate brings the procession. The second brings music. The third bends the ministers. 7 gates feel like 7 forced corrections. An old dynasty does not die at once. It hides in titles, in glances, in the stiff necks of old officials. At dusk, you are sent to the robe office. The imperial robe hangs on a wooden frame. Its yellow bright is an order. You have seen imperial clothing before, but never this one. It seems less like cloth than a shining net. The senior seamstress asks if you know what it is. You answer, ceremonial dress. She says, after tomorrow the realm must recognize it. The robe is too heavy for you alone. Another maid helps carry it down the corridor, and your wrists begin to tremble. The hem nearly touches the floor. For that instant, you fear it more than a blade. A dynasty changes its name by weighing down your hands first. Night falls, but the Mingtang still glows. The musicians do not leave. The officers do not leave, and neither do you. New wooden name markers arrive. 37 names, 4 crossed out, 2 added. The ink dries slowly, almost like blood. You do not know what those people did wrong. Perhaps they opposed it, paused too long, or merely occupied a place someone else needed. Power does not only sit at the highest point. Power is also a list. A key, lamp oil, clean water, a seal box, and a brush. Auspicious objects arrive. Incense tables are arranged, and heaven's mandate is carried into the hall piece by piece like scenery. Your knees go numb against the bricks, and your stomach dares not make a sound. Even a sacred scene needs hungry people to hold it up. Near midnight, a new maid whispers to you, what are we supposed to call her tomorrow? You want to tell her many things. In the end, you say only, follow everyone else. At midnight, Wu Zetian enters. No drums, no full court. Only a side door opening, and everyone dropping to their knees. You lower your head so deeply that you see only the hem of her robe passing your eyes. In that moment, she does not walk quickly. She stands below the steps, looking at the path she must climb tomorrow. Not a god, not a monster, but someone terribly awake. The ritual officer reports carefully from the first gate to the seventh, from presenting the seal to changing the name of the realm. When he finishes, she does not speak at once. Hundreds of people wait for her next breath. Then she says, "Run it again." So the midnight hall begins again. Musicians strike bells, maids lead the way, ministers bow, and you kneel, rise, and kneel again. Once, twice, 3 times. Before one person can become emperor, hundreds of others must rehearse believing it. Suddenly it feels absurd. Heaven's mandate has not yet arrived, but its blocking, lighting, and volume have already been revised 7 times. Near dawn, rehearsal finally stops. You lean against a wall and steal a breath, careful not to let anyone see your exhaustion. The maid who used the wrong title never returns. A new girl fills her place, and the line looks as if it was never broken. Before the ceremony begins, you smooth your sleeves behind the curtain. The drums are ready, the banners opened, and every mistake must have died last night. The first gate opens, the second opens, the third opens. Music rolls in from the distance like pressure. She appears, no longer an empress consort, no longer a dowager, no longer someone's wife, mother, or widow. She walks toward the highest place. The ministers kneel, and so do you. The rustle of robes sounds like an entire court lowering its head. This time, no one says it wrong. Bow before your majesty. The sound bursts from the hall like thunder finally rehearsed enough. Then comes long life. The first cry, the second, the third. Your voice is small, but the wave carries it. The historian will write, in the first year of Tianshou, the realm was renamed Zhou. Ministers congratulated her, and all under heaven submitted. But that is not what you remember. You remember the weight of the robe, the pain in your knees, and the silence, when names were crossed out. You also remember this: without thousands of small voices, the person at the top would not seem so high. After the ceremony, you collect lamps, curtains, and incense stands. Heaven's mandate may take the stage, but someone still cleans backstage. The empty place is no longer empty. The new girl stands there, learning to lower her head faster than she learns anyone's name. From today, the realm has a new name, Zhou. But old things do not vanish. They learn to speak in a different voice. Stop it, scribe. You say heaven's mandate arrived. What you saw is simpler. Heaven rehearses too, and emperors are called into being one voice at a time. And you are only one of them. You step back with lowered eyes, learning how to survive in the age of a woman emperor.